Hey guys, Eric Woolard here of For the Fallen Dreams. Just going to give you a quick rundown of some of our gear for this tour that we're doing with Elijah and Versus Me. This is day 2 of the tour. We are in West Chicago at the WC Social Club. So yeah, for guitars, this first guitar here I'm going to show you is the MH1000 by LTD. It's got the Evertune, which I honestly didn't love at first, but I've gotten used to it once you kind of figure out how to set it up. And then the Fishman Fluence pickups that sound really great. Nice neck through on the back, and it looks clean on stage with, you know, all white. We both play all white 7 strings together, and so I've really started to like this guitar. This is my main 7 string that I'll be playing. So for strings, I actually use the Ernie Ball 8-string Slinky, regular Slinky. It's the green set, and I throw out the wound 24 gauge string to create the 7 set. When I play, I pretty much never really go to the neck pickup. It's pretty much always just the bridge and controls. You know, each got a volume and a tone. Tone I usually leave all the way up for metal stuff, and really both of them all the way up for that. But yeah, man, it's a killer guitar. We tune to drop F sharp, so most of our songs are that. We do pitch up on one song to G sharp. We've got Searching, which is drop E flat, really low, but all the stuff stays in drop F sharp. So for the 6, we've got this old school LTD EC1000. These things have been around for a long time. They're tried and true, and early, you know, I'd say 08 to like 2010, pretty much everybody you saw playing these. And to be honest with you, I have better 6 strings that I could bring out, but this kind of has a cool story behind it. When I was like 14 or 15, I think, I had a teenage my first band, right? And we played, our first show, we covered 2 songs, and Nightmares by For the Fallen Dreams was one of those songs. So played that night on this guitar. So it's a kind of a cool full circle thing to be able to play this live now with the guys, and so I keep bringing it out, and it does well. So we've got an Ernie Ball fret wrap here, just because above the nut it gets a little bit noisy. It's got the EMG, I believe that's 8160 set, and yeah, I mean, we got 2 volumes and a tone. She's a little beat up, a little dirty, but she does a good job. For strings, I'm also running Ernie Ball. These are the not even Slinky 1256 on here. We play this guitar and drop B flat pretty much exclusively. All the 6-string stuff stays in drop B flat. So not too much going on there, but old tried and true, dirty, beat up EC1000, and still does a good job for us. Alright, so this is our guitar rack here, Guitar World, if you will. Nothing too crazy. I'm playing the Kemper. Xander is on the Quad Cortex. And we have, so my setup here, well, I need to mute that. Well, I can't. I've got 5 different tones that I use in that one performance. And let me make sure that doesn't do that again. Come on there. Cool. So, yeah, we've got tuner mutes, we've got everything midied. So as you heard, you might hear in the video, when I started that, it gave some feedback to the cab on stage. But when I start our session, it tuner mutes everything, which is what I just did. All of our tone changes come from MIDI switches as well. So while we're up stage playing, we don't have to really do anything. Everything's just smooth running, and it's all into the session. So for what we're doing is each amp here, we got the Kemper and the Quad Cortex again. Each one is splitting its signal. One side will use the cab that is in the tone on the units and go to front of house, and the other signal will remove that cab and send it to a real cab on stage. So at the bottom here, we've got that power amp that's just powering both of those lines that go straight to the cabs. So it's a nice split. So the Kemper, like I said, when I go to my clean tone, for example, I've got just a big delay, big reverb. Really, that's all I'm doing is just delay, reverb, pretty much your typical stuff, nothing too crazy. And then for like the solos and stuff, it'll just click into basically a copy of the main rhythm tone, just with a bit of a mid boost and extra volume and a lot of delay and reverb. So pretty typical stuff. I like to kind of base everything around the main rhythm tone in terms of volume. Like the clean side we only use in sections of songs where there's not much going on, so it can be quite a bit quieter than like the rhythm side. And I try to pre-mix all of our tracks, like effects and stuff, as best I can in the session, and normalize everything so that they're not just firing at different volumes all over the place and causing a huge pain for front of house that night. So yeah, everything's pretty pre-mixed, and these two guitars and everything here, or guitar amps, all funnel in to the next rack here, our in-ear rack. So this is where I guess all the magic happens, if you will. We've got two Scarlett 18i20s. One's actually the 2nd gen, and one is the 3rd gen. And then we've got, below that, let's see, so here we have Chad's wireless receiver for his mic, and these are his antennas for that. We use we use 10 outputs total from these two interfaces, which is why we have two, because they're 8 physical output. So we've got 10, so 2 from the 2nd unit and all 8 on the 1st, and that's just handling all of our tracks, all of our guitar tracks, bass, because right now we're without a bassist, and for all of the tracks other than like bass, they're all stereo, so it obviously requires those 2 outputs. So all of that feeds down eventually into the X32, and then we have all the like drum from the drum loom. I think that's 1 through like 10 or 11, and then we got guitars on a few after that. It's just a bunch of different patches from everything running off of stage. We've got our wireless units here. Those are our in-ear transmitters for our body packs. They're all on the same thing. It's just the Sennheiser G4 series stuff. Works really great. We're using also the Sennheiser antenna with that. No real issues there. So pretty much for such a small rack, I don't know if you can see the depth on camera there too well, but it's very, very narrow, and the back is kind of a nightmare. But it does work, and it's very, very self-contained, and it doesn't take up too much space. Pretty soon, after this tour probably, I'll be moving this all into a bigger rack. The gear will pretty much stay the same, but we'll have a side-by-side to combine both of these racks into one and make our lives a lot easier until stairs are involved. So with the X32, we've got our own mix running that we've dialed in for quite a while. Everybody loves the ability to use the app, the Mix Station app, or the native app, I forget what it's called, to dial in their mix. We pretty much set it and forget it. It doesn't change too much night to night. But yeah, that's about it on this. We've also got, I guess I can cover the S16 stage box to expand our I/O. We run 24 inputs every night. So everything together, tracks, vocals, guitars, bass, drums, everything totals 24. So that's what that S16 is for. And yeah, and then we run a digital split, which can't really show you too well because it's on the back. But we run a digital split with a Cat 5 to house, so we don't have to carry a huge snake, fan-to-fan snake or anything, and keeps things a lot cleaner on stage. I personally hate seeing cables around my feet, or if I step on a cable, just the feeling, like it's triggering to me. So I like a very clean deck, and that definitely helps keep things out of there. So this is the pedal board that I'm running, and then this is actually a pedal board that I use for country gigs, where I will actually use pretty much every pedal on here. I still carry it for, actually to change that while I'm looking at it, I still carry it for our stuff with For the Fallen Dreams, because there's a few pedals I do use. I still use, this is my wireless for my guitar, and I like keeping it mounted on my pedal board, and then I'll run a long line around the perimeter of the cage, of the stage, to go into the Kemper in the back of the alternate input. But yeah, this keeps me wireless at least to the pedal board. The other one that I'll use is I'll occasionally click on that Polytune, to quickly check on tuning, because the Kempers are usually off stage where I can't see them. I use this drop pedal for a few songs so that I don't have to do MIDI switches for pitch changes in the Kemper. I don't really love how the Kemper's pitch shifting sounds, at least compared to that drop pedal. So I'll use that. Good old noise suppressor, you kind of got to have it these days, I feel like. Nothing crazy there. These three I don't use at all. I don't actually use the precision drive at all, even though I could. It's a great sounding pedal. Oh, losing my balance. Then the last thing really is this HX Stomp here, which the only thing I use for it is to shift up, because there are some songs where we go from F sharp to G sharp and the drop pedal only goes down. So that will shift me up on a couple songs. And this is just an extra switch that plugs in over TRS to give me 2 additional switches, and those just go preset up and down, but I don't really use those for this either. But that's pretty much it for this pedal board, really, for what I'm using with the FTFD boys. So you can find us at forthefallendreams.com. We are pretty active on Facebook, Instagram, trying to get more active on TikTok. Haven't been the best at that, but for future tours, yeah, absolutely, you can check out forthefallendreams.com. There's tickets there, there's info on tours that we're doing. And like I said, Instagram is a great place to follow us, pretty active there. If you still use Facebook, that one too. Right now we are starting to write the next record, so there's not a whole lot of news on that, but it is in the works. Right now for this tour, we're not playing any new stuff, really pushing the last release, the self-titled. But yeah, we are working on stuff and have different people working on that with us, and really looking forward to what we put out next, and what we've got so far is sounding really cool. So looking forward to that. Stay tuned on it.